Imagine a place that tells a story spanning centuries, where culture and nature intertwine to create something truly extraordinary. That's the beauty of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. I'm Abigail, and this is Global Treasures, the podcast that covers the history, travel tips, and legends surrounding one of the 1,223 World Heritage Sites each episode. These places have been identified as having universal cultural or natural significance that is so exceptional that it transcends national boundaries and is of importance to present and future generations. Welcome to Season 2, where we'll explore the 45 sites that UNESCO added in 1979 together. Thank you for listening to the Global Treasures podcast. We appreciate all of your support, and you can continue to support us by subscribing at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Podbean. You can also follow us at TikTok, Facebook, and please share this podcast with your friends. Imagine a place where mountains meet the sea in a dramatic embrace, where fortress walls climb impossible heights, and where each stone tells a story spanning millennia. Picture a bay so perfectly sheltered that it seems as though nature herself conspired to create the perfect harbor, a place where Illyrian queens, Venetian merchants, Austrian admirals, and countless sailors have gazed out over waters that shimmer like polished silver. Welcome to the Bay of Kotor, or Boka Kotorska as locals know it, where history isn't confined to museums and books, but lives in every weathered stone, every winding alleyway, and every ancient fortress wall climbing the mountainside. Here, in this deepest natural fjord in the Mediterranean, where mountains rise dramatically to nearly 1,500 meters above crystal-clear waters, we find one of Europe's most perfectly preserved medieval landscapes. The natural and cultural-historical region of Kotor encompasses the most spectacular part of Montenegro's Adriatic coast, a landscape where nature and human ingenuity have created something truly extraordinary. The inscribed property covers 14,600 hectares of a unique geographical marvel, two interrelated bays linked by a narrow channel that serves as the region's central visual axis. But Kotor is more than just scenic beauty. It's a testament to human adaptation and architectural brilliance. The old town of Kotor, a medieval cityscape nestled within perfectly preserved city walls, showcases a harmonious blend of influences, from ancient Illyrian foundations to Venetian palaces, from Orthodox monasteries to Catholic churches, all ingrained seamlessly into a terraced landscape that seems to defy gravity. At its heart stands the Cathedral of St. Tryphon, built in 1166, a masterpiece of Romanesque architecture that has survived earthquakes, invasions, and passage of time. Despite suffering heavy damage during the devastating earthquake of April 15, 1979, the cathedral, like Kotor itself, has proven remarkably resilient. The fortifications of Kotor tell a story of military engineering spanning centuries. Imagine walking along ramparts that stretch 4.5 kilometers, with walls ranging from 2 to 16 meters thick, and reaching heights of up to 20 meters. These aren't just walls. They're a historical manuscript written in stone, reflecting architectural influences from the Illyrians, the Byzantine Empire, Venice, and Austria. The city's defensive system is a masterpiece of strategic design. 3 main gates guard the approaches. The Sea Gate, from 1555, stands as the main entrance, its winged lion of St. Mark still proudly proclaiming Venetian heritage. The River Gate, from 1540, with its imposing Bembo bastion, and the Girdic Gate from 1470, fortified by the Gurdik Bastion. The fortifications don't just encircle the city, they climb. Starting from sea level, they ascend St. John Mountain in an incredible display of medieval engineering. Along this vertical fortress, you'll find the Church of Our Lady of Remedy from 1518, offering solace to countless defenders and pilgrims. At the summit, 280 meters above the bay, stands the San Giovanni Castle, crowning this remarkable defensive system. The Bay of Kotor is a place where geography becomes poetry. This winding bay of the Adriatic extends approximately 28 kilometers inland, creating one of the most sheltered natural harbors in the world. Its shoreline stretches 107.3 kilometers, creating a series of interconnected bays, each with its own character and charm. The Verage Strait, at its narrowest, just 340 meters wide, serves as a natural gateway between the outer and inner bays. The surrounding mountains, Orvin to the west and Lovzen to the east, create a dramatic amphitheater that has protected the bay and its inhabitants for millennia. The history of Kotor reads like an epic saga, beginning with prehistoric settlers who left their mark in the form of reindeer drawings in Lipski village, dating back to 12 to 1500 BC. The region's strategic importance was recognized early. The Illyrians established their first mint here between 300 to 200 BC, marking Kotor's early role in Mediterranean trade works. Each era has left its mark. The Romans called it Acruvium, establishing it as a key port on their Adriatic routes. The Byzantine period brought new fortifications under Emperor Justinian I in the 6th century. But perhaps the most transformative period began in 1420, when Kotor became part of Venice's maritime empire. Under Venetian rule, Kotor flourished as a cultural and commercial center. The city withstood Ottoman sieges in 1538 to 1571 and 1657 to 1699, its fortifications proving impregnable. This period gave us many of the architectural treasures that we see today, including magnificent palaces that line the bay. One of the most fascinating aspects of Kotor's history is its maritime tradition. The Boka Navy, founded in 809, holds the distinction of being the oldest maritime organization in the world. Its formation coincided with the arrival of the relics of Saint Tryphon, the city's patron saint, marking the beginning of a rich religious and cultural tradition that continues to this day. Kotor's cultural heritage is as deep as its bay. The city has been a meeting point of religions, cultures, and artistic traditions. The Church of St. Luke, built in 1195, tells this story perfectly. From 1657 to 1812, it uniquely housed both Orthodox and Catholic altars, a testament to the city's tradition of religious tolerance and cultural integration. The city's artistic heritage is equally impressive. From the 11th to the 14th centuries, Kotor's workshops produced over 800 Byzantine-style icons, creating a legacy of religious art that rivals any in the Mediterranean. The town's goldsmith tradition, exemplified by masters like George Radek Kusevic in the 18th century, created treasures that still fill church treasuries today. Like many historical sites, Kotor faces the challenge of preserving its heritage while embracing the future. The devastating earthquake of 1979 marked a turning point, leading to the city's inscription on UNESCO's World Heritage List and its danger list in the same year. However, this crisis also sparked a remarkable rehabilitation effort that has helped preserve the city's architectural treasures for future generations. Fun fact: did you know that Kotor is famous for its cats? These feline residents have become such an integral part of the city's character that there's not only a cat museum, but also a cat square. Throughout the city, you'll find water and food left out for these furry inhabitants, and even cardboard boxes arranged as sleeping quarters, a tradition that speaks to the warmth and hospitality of local residents. Here's another fascinating detail. Twice daily, the streets of Kotor are washed with shampoo, a tradition that dates back to medieval times when the city suffered from plague outbreaks. This dedication to cleanliness has persisted throughout the centuries, making Kotor's stone streets some of the cleanest you'll find in any historical city. And for those interested in maritime history, here's a remarkable fact. In the 17th century, the nautical school of Perast was so renowned that in 1698, Russian Emperor Peter the Great sent 17 noblemen to study at this prestigious institution. The story of Kotor is one of remarkable resilience. Consider the Beskukka Palace, built in 1776, whose owner possessed 99 palaces in Kotor and overseas, a testament to the wealth that flowed through this port city. Or the Palace Buzhevic in Perast, constructed in 1694 and considered the most beautiful in the Bay of Kotor, now serving as a museum preserving the region's maritime heritage. The city's fortifications, stretching 4.5 kilometers and costing more than any other defensive system on the Adriatic coast, stand as perhaps the greatest symbol of this resilience. These walls have withstood sieges, earthquakes, and the passage of time, continuing to protect the cultural treasures within. Today, Kotor isn't just a museum piece. It's a living city where traditions continue to evolve. The Bokolj, as the inhabitants of the bay are known, maintain centuries-old maritime traditions. The Bokoljska, Monarika, recently inscribed in UNESCO's list of intangible heritage of humanity, continues to preserve the region's seafaring culture. One of the most spectacular demonstrations of this living heritage is the Bokoljska Nok, or Boka Night, a festival of decorated vessels that has been celebrated since the 17th century. In 1936, it hosted King Edward, and today it continues to enchant visitors with its magical display of illuminated boats and floating pageantry. As we conclude our exploration of Kotor, it's worth noting that this remarkable site continues to evolve. Recent years have seen thoughtful restoration projects, like the transformation of the old Austro-Hungarian prison into an artistic hub, showing how historical spaces can be adapted for contemporary use while preserving their character. And now, as we prepare to guide you through the practical aspects of visiting this remarkable place, from navigating its winding streets to sampling its culinary delights, let's remember that Kotor is more than just a destination. It's a living testament to human ingenuity, cultural resilience, and the enduring power of community. If you're traveling from another country, you'll want to fly into Podgorica Airport. From there, you can rent a car, take public transportation such as a bus, or grab a taxi. Public transportation will be your cheapest option. It may also be more convenient to use during your stay, as renting a car is problematic in the sense that finding parking can be tricky in Old Town. For lodging, there are wide varieties of hostels, homestays, hotels, bed and breakfasts, and boutique hotels. So no matter your budget, you'll find something. Several of the main places you may want to visit require tickets. For example, it's free to enter Old Town, but some of the sites within have an entrance fee, including St. John's Fortress, which has some incredible scenic spots you can hike up to. This is a great place for photographers. Just know that this is quite the trek, so wear your sneakers. You can also visit the Maritime Museum, which is inexpensive. It's over 120 years old and sits in a Baroque palace. And when it comes to paying those fees, always ask for discounts. Sometimes they're available for students or larger groups. If you're a foodie, this is a great place to eat inexpensively. The cuisine is a mesh of Italian, Turkish, and Hungarian, so you'll see goulash, kebab, and cured meats on many menus. Turkish coffee is common as well. One standout dish worth trying that's a popular fast food option is börek. This is a phyllo or pastry dough filled with vegetables, meat, cheese, and/or potato. I also want to note that if you dine in restaurants, tipping the waitstaff isn't expected but always appreciated. You may be wondering what's the best time of year to visit. If you use weather or crowds as your guide, spring is probably where you should shoot for. The weather doesn't get above the mid-70s Fahrenheit, and the Old Town isn't as crowded when compared with July to August. And in these months, it can get as hot as 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Also, this is a large cruise port, so there's a big influx at the major tourist attractions during those summer months. Winter ranges between 40 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, but know that between December and February, a lot of the attractions have limited hours or may be closed altogether. I was surprised to learn this, as over 23,000 people reside within this area, making it a unique UNESCO site, as most of them are uninhabited. The primary language is Montenegrin, but English is frequently spoken in tourist areas. Also, menus are typically printed in English, as well as the signs at major tourist destinations. However, it never hurts to learn a few basic phrases like hello or thank you. And for those who love to hear about hauntings and legends, this site has some interesting lore. The first is the Island of Dead Captains. It's said that the island of St. George Parast is haunted by the ghost of a French soldier who killed his girlfriend by shooting a cannon at her house. It's said that this story even inspired the painting The Island of the Dead by Becklin. It's privately owned now, so visiting is not permitted by the general public. There's also the Tres Sorel, or Three Sisters Palace, which you can visit today, or at least you can see the outside. It appears the inside isn't available to be toured by the public due to being structurally unsafe. This 15th century summer home is supposedly haunted by three sisters, all of whom fell in love with the same sailor, and well, as you can imagine, things ended tragically. And this folklore has been passed down for centuries. Now, let's end things by talking about the issues faced in terms of the historic preservation piece. I think that it's important to understand how this site represents the lived experiences of the people in this area both presently and in the past. And of course, we touched on it before. The main issue here is over-tourism. All of the visitors, due to the cruises, puts pressure on infrastructure and adds noise pollution, as well as the air and water pollution, and can contribute to water scarcity when droughts are an issue. It's estimated that Kotor gets 250,000 visitors each year. The socioeconomic makeup of the area is in flux as well. They are constructing new tourist centers, roads, and buildings along the coast. This may seem like a good idea from a financial standpoint, but these additions are changing the coastline. This makes keeping the buffer zone firm vital to maintaining the property. And as mentioned before, in 1979, there was an earthquake which damaged many of the cultural monuments and historic urban areas. However, they were restored due to help from UNESCO and have retained their aesthetic quality as a result. I'm confident that this site will continue to be enjoyed in its current state by future travelers for years to come. Thank you for joining us today. Our next episode will take us to the Ngorongoro Conservation Area in Tanzania, which is the home to the Great Migration. We'll be taking you to a vast forest filled with wildebeest, zebras, and gazelle, a place that is truly larger than life. Until then, keep exploring, keep wondering, and keep treasuring the remarkable diversity of our world's heritage.